Edmonton Oilers 0, St. Louis Blues 2. Welcome to the day after reaction after what was very much a snooze fest. Is that right, Zach?
Yeah, it was. That game yesterday was a tough one, honestly. I don't know. It was a frustrating game, right? I mean, credit where it's due to both teams. It was a bit of a defensive battle all the way, right? I don't think either team came out playing the way they wanted to. And, St. Louis got one power play. They made the most of it. And, Edmonton got one late in the game, but they couldn't capitalize on it. They didn't even take a single shot on goal on their one power play opportunity was. Frustrating game, but I think there's some things that this team can build on from it.
No, 100% sure. And it's the complete opposite from the game we had on Friday, where we beat Carolina 6-4, six different goal scorers. And now in this game, you couldn't buy a goal. Reed Wilkins here, he got an update from the NHL. Oilers matinee record, including today, is 94, 122, and 27. So the Oilers, when it comes to morning, afternoon games, not a good time. Just let's get to your three takeaways here, Zach. Let's just get to it because this game was rough, right?
Yeah, it was a tough one. For me, honestly, the first one that I really have is the play of Jack Campbell. Yeah, sure, there's one goal allowed, but it was a power play shot from the point. He didn't even have a chance to really see. Beyond that, he stopped 20 of 21 shots, 952 save percentage. There was a couple of sequences where he made multiple big stops in a row, and he really helped shut the door. Credit where it's due. I thought he was great last night.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But like, I want to just double up on that. It's like, I feel like Jack Campbell's starting to really settle into the Oilers net. It's just the team in front of him has not been good. I think that's safe to say. Second takeaway from you.
My second takeaway is the fact that the Oilers actually didn't really play a terrible game. It was a slow one. It was a defensive battle. It was a bit methodical. I think the biggest issue from that, though, is the fact that St. Louis blocked 25 shots yesterday. They got in front of the pill a lot. For the Oilers, you'd like to see them maybe try and be a little bit more patient in trying to find their lanes and those abilities to get those shots on net. So I think that's definitely one thing that the team's going to need to build on here heading into Monday against Pittsburgh.
And credit to St. Louis. I feel like this is a team that doesn't get a lot of credit. I think a lot of people forget that this is a team that took the Colorado Avalanche to 6 games in round 2. They were probably the second toughest challenge the Avs faced in that playoff run next to Tampa Bay Lightning. So, the St. Louis Blues are just a solid hockey club. They're well run. And how about your third takeaway?
My third takeaway is that Connor McDavid continues to just be a cheat code. He was great yesterday. He really was. There was that one clip of him 4 minutes into the third period. He took like that lob pass and literally juggled the puck, knocked it down, and still got a shot away. I thought that was incredible. He was probably the Oilers' best player, as he should be on any given night. But, he was really buzzing last night trying to generate some offense. And, he just unfortunately wasn't able to do so. But, McDavid, he's a tremendous player. But, he seemed to kind of be playing at a pace that was much quicker than everybody else yesterday.
Well, yeah, it's good. The pace is something you pointed out there. And, you mentioned that this wasn't a bad hockey game from the Oilers. But many online are saying just no effort, not a lot of effort from the Oilers. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I think I could understand why people will say that. I mean, people got to remember and realize that St. Louis is one of the best defensive hockey teams in the entire NHL. They want to play that style of game. They want to play slow. They want to play methodical. They want to grind the game out. And that's what they were able to do. They kind of imposed their will, so to speak, on the Oilers. So I think there's definitely some frustration there that the Oilers maybe didn't play the game they wanted to play and were rather forced to playing down to the game that St. Louis wanted to play. I don't think it was a bad game per se, but yeah, it was slow. It was a bit of a grindy style of game.
And I think one player that really stood out to me, aside from Connor McDavid, was probably Ryan McLeod. Even though he's playing kind of in that bottom six, he brought a lot of energy. He was creating some chances. I loved his game, but yeah, overall, just a snooze fest, right?
Yeah, I was a snooze fest, but you make a great point about McLeod, right? I thought him, Fogle, and Puljujarvi were the Oilers' best line yesterday. They seemed to be generating the most offensive zone time, the most chances. They were consistent offensively and defensively. It's going to be tough for a guy like Dylan Holloway to crack back into this lineup. And, it might not be the worst thing to kind of sit back and say, okay, maybe we should just get this guy down in Bakersfield for a little while here, let him percolate a little bit more because like, who do you take out of the top 9? Like I can't, you can't right now. with the way that that third line is playing right now, your top six is fairly set with, 6 or 7 guys that can rotate through there. Do you want Holloway on your fourth line? Well, Ken Holland said in the offseason that that's something the Oilers don't want to do. They want him in the top 9. But again, I have a hard time seeing him beating anybody out right now. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, because Holloway's likely going to return after Monday. So, we'll see how they're able to adjust, and maybe they play him on the fourth line and rotate him up into the middle 9 a little bit, middle 6 a little bit. It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I agree with you with Dylan Holloway. I don't think it's the worst idea to send him back down to Bakersfield. I mean, the Oilers did that with Ryan McLeod last October after a few games, and they sent him to Bakersfield. He got some more game time, and he started to really flourish. He got called up middle of the season, McLeod, and look at him now. So not the worst idea.
Absolutely. And it's about building confidence for the player too. Like, again, you talk about McLeod last year, the start of the year, he was not playing very good hockey, right? He got down to Bakersfield. He played a bunch of minutes down there. Suddenly he came back and he was a great player for the Oilers in their bottom 6 last year. And he's really carried that over into this season.
I guess that's a wrap for us here, Zach. Thank you to everyone who tuned into the day after reaction from the St. Louis Blues versus the Edmonton Oilers. Don't forget to comment, and subscribe, and head to OilersNation.com for more Oilers related content, in-depth analysis, and we'll see you after Pittsburgh.